Bonjour everyone, and welcome back to the Spirit Realm. In today's video, I'll be talking about the second eldest son of the Manitou of the West. His name is Pukawiss. Now, Pukawiss is not his actual name. Like his older brother, nobody remembers what his name was. But he was given this after his father was tired of trying to remind him of doing things to practice and become a good warrior. And thus, he was given the name Pukawiss. Now, Pukawiss can mean either cut off, disowned, or unwanted because of the fact that he didn't want to become a warrior. The appearance is not really talked about for Pukawiss, besides the fact that he's at least attractive, seeing that he would find a lot of young women fawning over him, and later, but would be incorporated to his entire being and what he would represent, he would be given these ornate costumes that he would use for his performance instead of everyday wear. And actually, in the next section, we will talk about it a little bit, but essentially, it was Pukawiss that helped originate and invent the hoop dance. Like I said in the beginning, Pukawiss was the black sheep amongst his brothers. And the reasoning is just because he didn't want to become a warrior. He had no interest in wielding a club or fighting or wrestling. Instead, he was more interested in watching, listening to animals, birds, and insects, the wind, the hearing of the lake, jumping around, skipping, and bending his bodies in different shapes. He then later kind of interpreted this as being an entertainer and would go around the different areas of the Anishinaabe people in different villages and would entertain people by doing these dances, by doing these bends, by skipping, and all this kind of things, which later down the line he found a way to kind of interpret this because at least the way he thought of it as because he was listening and viewing the pretty much life and nature of everything, of animals, of birds, of people, of nature itself, he interpreted what he saw and what he listened into the dance, which many people now nowadays as the hoop dance. And the hoop dance actually does have a pretty good meaning that a lot of people don't realize about it. The hoop dance is supposed to be a dramatization of trauma that people often go through, and how many people will go through different counselors for guidance, or not specifically counselors like a camp counselor, but people who have authority or they think they might help. But as they ask for more and more people for help and getting different answers by those different people, it creates more mischief and discourse in a person's well being. And the hoop dance are supposed to show how crazy it can get when you're just getting different answers from multiple people, as the hoops are supposed to be the representation of how mischiefs breed mischiefs, and how, while it starts out with just, one thing that you have in yourself, quickly it multiplies and it gets out of hand, and now your brain and mind and soul is out of control, out of hand, and you can't think straight until Boyokas demonstrates on how, when you go through each of the hoops through this dance, it's supposed to represent on how by going through all of these hoops, or your mischief that was created by all this, that started from one problem in you, by looking through all the things that were made, you can find the inner peace that you were trying to look for. Besides making dances that are supposed to represent of how people can be stronger than they perceive from themselves, he also does his entertainment for kind of jokes because, well, he's kind of a jokester. He's kind of a trickster in the sense of like how Nanabuzu is a trickster. But apparently, I guess Nanabuzu gets it from his brother because apparently during his performances, he would do jabs and jokes that would entertain and settle down everyone's soul and make stuff lighthearted because, at least to his mind, he sees it as he's making fun of people who takes life or even their own personality too seriously and openly makes fun of them because of the fact that he sees it as them only living so much when they could live a whole spectrum of emotions. Now, speaking of Nanabuzu, apparently Pukawiss would bully, or not bully, but kind of play tricks on Nanabuzu a lot, and what essentially is just, typical older brother just messes with little siblings stuff, and since Nanabuzu is the youngest, it kind of just plays into all that kind of thing. But apparently, he played one joke that kind of ticked Nanabuzu to the edge, and Nanabuzu kind of went a little overboard and, long story short, thought that he killed his brother, and he started to cry, and, well, luckily, Pukawiss knew that something like this was going to happen, and he started to laugh, thinking that this was a joke, and because of that, Nanabuzu was chasing him, and yeah, because of it, every once in a while when you hear like a wind brush or when things are just kind of quiet all of a sudden, it kind of indicates on whether or not Nanabuzu is chasing his brother or not. And I find that kind of funny. Not in the sense of, oh, his brother was alive and, he pretended to be dead, haha. But more kind of the fact of, well, the sense of philosophy that Pukawiss has is the fact that people take life or themselves too seriously. So he's going to play pranks on them to show them that life isn't all that serious. Hello everybody, and thank you again for watching my videos. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if, you want to. And don't worry, I know Thanksgiving's right around the corner as I'm posting this. It's going to be about, 4 more days before Thanksgiving comes around. And before that, or at least on the day, I do want to upload a video, and I'm just going to be a little silly about it and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be fun and less of kind of just all that kind of like seriousness, or not seriousness, but talking about the legends and stories about these Montanos. So, can't wait.